speakers and the signal strong. Down in the basement where the beats belong. Smoky's feast, cooking up the vibe. Interviews fire like the band's come alive. Rock Rage Radio burns through the night. Smoky at the helm, keeping it tight. Killer bands roll, then stories flow. This is the feast on your stereo. Mic in hand, he's the master of flame. Guest bringing heat, not playing no games. Stories of battle on Rock's old road. Smoky dishes truth on every episode. Rock Rage Radio burns through the night. Smoky at the helm, keeping it tight. Killer bands roll, then stories flow. This is the feast on your stereo. The rhythm hits you like a rolling wave. Bands unchained, no souls to save. Laughter and stories from deep within. Smoky's table set, let the feast begin. Rock Rage Radio burns through the night. Smoky at the helm, keeping it tight. Killer bands roll, and stories flow. This is the feast on your stereo.
What's going on, everybody? It is time for another exciting episode of Smoky's Feast, and I am joined with a band that is called Dead Perspective. Did I get it right? I got it right.
Perfect.
I
You got it
knew
right.
I got it right. What's going on, fellas? How you doing? Welcome to the show, man. Welcome.
Hey, great to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, man, most definitely. Now, I am a fan. I will say, first and foremost, I am a fan, so I'm a little nervous, man. You know, you guys really do cook, and I can't believe it's only a two-piece band. That blows me away. So let's go ahead and let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Dead Perspective. What is the band name all about, man? What is the band name?
We've had this name for a long time. We used to have a different name, and I don't remember exactly where the idea came from because we've been playing together since we were teens, really, the two of us. And even back in the day when we were a four-piece, we were all friends from a small town in Tennessee. And so I think the idea came from the notion of, and a lot of our stuff actually has this thread of stoicism through it. And so, kind of an idea around a look at society and a look at kind of where we were in our lives in our teens. And, we felt like that name really summed up what we were trying to say at that time, and then of course now we're much older, but I think that thread still rings true in the music, and a lot of these tunes that you're hearing on our first record are tunes from back in the day that we wrote like 10, 15 years ago. So we're just now getting around to kind of re-recording them and releasing them formally, for the world to hear instead of just in our local area. A lot of these tunes we were playing 10 years ago, 15 years ago when we were touring the West Tennessee area.
Right. How exciting is that, man? Knowing that you guys have been sitting on these songs for so long and they're finally going to see the light of day, man. How do you guys feel?
It's amazing. And that's where the album title comes from, right? Memento mori is it's a Latin phrase. It means remember death, and that's kind of like what we were all about trying to do with this first record. Was like, hey, we got to get these songs out there, put them out for the world, and not take them with us to the grave, right? And so, do it or stop or quit, right? And so, John and I weren't willing to to let it go, and so we kept pushing on it, and even though there's only two of us, we were able to get it done, and so now we're working on number two.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. You guys said you were a four-piece before you became a two-piece, and you guys still
Oh, yeah.
continued to go. So, what all happened with the members, and why did you guys decide to continue to go on with the band?
Well, back in the day, there was four of us, right? So it was Brian Snowdy, Dalton Wall, John Hennon, and myself. The four of us, and we were under a different name. As the perspective kind of formed out of changing musical ideas, you know, uh, we had different tunes. We kind of were going in different directions. So that perspective kind of formed out of that, and we had a different singer and drummer, and so then it kind of changed. So it was Sam Brown, Dalton Wall, John, and I. That was the original roster for Dead Perspective, and we were touring. We were kind of bouncing between Memphis and Nashville. Just any gigs we could find in that area, all of West Tennessee, basically whatever we could reach with our, in a van or in our car or whatever.
Right.
Traveling as far as we could reach, and anybody that would want to listen to us. And so we had a lot of success in the West Tennessee area. We had a pretty big fan base that would follow us, from our small town to Memphis or follow us to Nashville. We played in a number of Battle of the Bands. I had a lot of success, but life gets in the way. Children start to pop up. Relationships have trouble, and things start to happen. And that's what I think really what happened to all of us, right? John and I had kids. Dalton had kids, and life gets in the way. You stop chasing the dream so much to try to deliver for that family, and so. That's kind of why we stopped for a while. Now, John and I, we both have young teenagers now, and so we're not changing diapers and chasing toddlers anymore. And so we have a little more time to kind of get back to it. Dalton was interested in doing he's doing other things. Sam is doing other things, and so that just left the two of us. So it was like, well, and even now, I'm in St. Louis. John is in Tennessee still, so we're separated. It was kind of an interesting challenge over COVID to say, "Hey, can we do this? Can we record remotely? Can we put an album together?" Even though, like, these songs we know inside and out, right? We played them a million times, but can we actually put a record together like this? I think at least I can only speak for myself. I'll let John kind of chime in here, but. It was like, well, let's give it a shot. And if it sucks, then we won't put it out. And so recording the tunes, it was very exciting. And, it took me back to the old days. And it's like, oh, yeah, I remember why I love doing this. And so, it's very exciting. And just, having physical copies and getting it out there and getting feedback from folks, hearing, what they think about what we've done after all these years, it's awesome.
That's cool, man. Well, go ahead, stick around. The band is going to be sticking with me the whole hour, and we're going to be playing their tracks. Crouch is the first song that we're going to be playing from the band. And what is this song all about, man?
Crutch is a song that was written a long, long time ago. It's probably one of the first songs that we wrote from those early days. I think I was like 16 or 17 when we wrote this song. Heavily inspired by Slipknot, even though you won't necessarily pick that up by listening to it. It's more of a punky sort of vibe to it. But the chords that we're actually using the ideas came from some Slipknot tunes that we heard, where the rub of the chords come from. And so, just kind of trying to figure out what Dead Perspective sound was going to be. It was one of the very first songs that we wrote as Dead Perspective. And so that's pretty much where the idea came from. And, John, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Not to that track in itself. It's been a long time since I've actually thought about that, honestly.
Yeah. Old song, really. One of the oldest.
It's one of my favorites. I can give you that much.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's cool. We'll take it. We'll take it, John. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. Crutch, we'll let the music speak for itself. Dead perspective right here. Smoky's feet. was Killing You in Your Sleep by Dead Perspective right here on Smoky's Feast. And if you guys are just now joining me, I do have the band hanging out with me for the full hour. And before we go any further, Killing You in Your Sleep. What is this song all about, man? I listened to the song. It's a good song. It's a driving song. It's great, man. But I want to know, is this about a bug killing you in your sleep while you're trying to sleep? I mean, what's going on? What's really going on?
I think it's probably more like just straight up murder. Actually, in our backlog of songs, there's quite a bit of tunes that are just kind of experimental, like we're playing around with tropes from horror or from sci-fi or whatever. Just whatever idea strikes us on the day when we're working on writing a tune. There's another song that will be forthcoming that's not on this record called "The Arsonist." So. That tune is about a local guy who was running around town starting fires all over the place. And so just like whatever was in the news at the time that we, during the writing process, we might just take that and run with it. And so Killing You in Your Sleep is a fictional story based on a relationship where it didn't go so well.
Okay. I get it. So as the story continues about the band, man, I really want to know that you guys are going to be releasing these songs since they haven't seen the light of day for about 10, 12 years. And the band has been going for so long, man. What keeps you guys going as a two-piece now? Because you guys don't even live in the same state. So what keeps you guys wanting to continue this project?
John and I go back, how long? What, 20 years or something? Since the school bus.
Yeah, since the school bus, man. I want to say I was maybe a junior that we started hanging out, maybe.
Yeah, right. Something like that.
Maybe even earlier than that.
That's so awesome to always have good friends and be in a band with them, man. That's always good to have that.
There was always something special about, when John and I would sit down and play together. And I, to be fair, I felt that same sort of magic happen with Dalton and, his drumming. It was just like a special combination of things that would happen when we would get in a room and play together. And, even though Dalton's not really actually playing much on the record, he wrote a lot of the parts that we're using on the record. And so we're trying to capture that same magic that we experienced in the room, all those years ago. And I think that, largely we succeeded in capturing that magic. I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out.
It was really, really difficult to do all that drum mapping and stuff.
Right.
I can't even tell you how many countless hours I've spent just sitting there going back and just needing a little tweak here and a little tweak there, and moving this cymbal splash here. It was quite the experience.
That must have been a pain in the ass, man. That must have been that's dedication right there. I don't know, but that's dedication right there, man. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and get into another song. Fading Through is the next track that we're going to be playing from the band. What is this track all about, man?
Fading Through was originally a track from that first band that I referenced earlier in our conversation. So that band was called Memoir. This song is written by a friend of the band, Brian Snowdy. So he wrote this song. He and I wrote it together to a degree. He wrote the words. I wrote the guitar part, and John came along and made it better in all the right ways after the fact. And so we wrote that song. It was a Memoir tune, and we still have a handful of those songs from the old days. And Fading Through was one that just was always a favorite. And so when we started putting together the list of songs we wanted to put on this first record, we wanted a little bit of each, a little bit of the original Dead Perspective set, and then a little bit of the Memoir set. Fading Through is just one of those that we couldn't say no to. It's just too good to leave it out. And so it's still here.
There it is, man. Fading
Here
Through.
to stay.
It's here to stay. That's right. Fading Through. Dead Perspective, Smoky's Feast.
She rolls her eyes, sees the color
That was Start Over by Dead Perspective right here on Smoky's Feast on Rock Rage Radio. And man, I gotta say, by all the songs that we're starting to play and we're getting into the really good stuff, this one by far spoke to me the most, man. This was a really great song, and I want to know, what is this song all about, man?
So I wrote the song. All these songs would have been written a long time back. So we'll just caveat that at the beginning. But this song, the idea came from a session of writing around a time when I was very ill. It actually, there's two songs on this record that came from that same session. So I was sick and kind of trying to plow ahead and be productive with my songwriting and keep moving forward. But I was engaged in a relationship with somebody who was far away, and we were kind of going through kind of a rough breakup, writing letters to each other, and really, during the early days of the internet at that point. So like you couldn't get on a Zoom call back then, and so it's kind of trying to work through a breakup, a tough time, and that song is kind of what came out of that.
Very cool, man. So I gotta ask, I've had you guys on the show for a while, and I've been asking myself, who does what? There's only two members of the band, so I want to know, what do you guys
we wear lots
do?
Of hats.
Yeah. So what do you guys do in the band, man? Since there's only two of you.
Primarily, I play the bass. I also do all the drum sampling and little tidbits here and there, and keyboard and instrumentation, even a little bit of tuba and trumpet and stuff like that, especially on the song Smoke. Dustin, well, I'll just let him talk about what he does.
Sure. A lot of the songs lyrically are probably going to be more in my wheelhouse. I'm doing most of the vocals that you're going to hear on the record. Almost all of the guitars you're going to hear on the record are me. And then, kind of in a producer capacity beyond that. So John and I will work together on a track to generate kind of a bass line, the drums, a basic click track, something that I can work off of. Then I'll get the track. I'll add guitars, I'll add vocals, kind of a bass line. Then it'll go back to John. He'll perfect the drums. He'll add the bass. He'll add any kind of bells and whistles that we want to put in there. Then it'll come back to me. I might add some stuff, change some vocals, rework some stuff if needs be. Then it'll go back and forth between us as we listen and evaluate and we'll continue that process back and forth until we're both happy with it. And that's pretty much when we get to final mix and putting it out there on the record.
That is so amazing to me, man. There's so much communication and so much creativity going through just two people, and for these songs to have the light of day finally, I think it's time, man. These songs were really written before their time, and now they're coming out, I think, right when they should be, man, because these are some really great songs, bro.
Yeah, well, I hope other folks feel that way, right? We're just excited to share it with people, and get it out there for folks to listen to.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to pick up a CD or anything like that, where can one go, man?
You can pick it up over at elasticStage.com.
That's right.
/Dead Perspective, I believe, is the actual link to it.
CDs and vinyl. Yep.
We have CDs and vinyl up on there.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, I love it so much. We're going to get into another track, Wasteland. This is one of my favorites, man. What is this song all about?
Sure. Wasteland is another one of the original memoir tracks. So this was written by, at least lyrically written by Brian Snowdy, and originally started as like a jam song that we would play in John's dad's garage. He would, kind of. John and I come from a background of kind of doing a lot of garage jamming. We would do like Red Hot Chili Peppers tunes and a lot of post-punk stuff and even into some metal stuff. That when we were really young, and this kind of came out of that sort of vibe, right? Trying to capture that Red Hot Chili Peppers kind of funky sort of thing that they do. You know, our own take on it, of course. I'm not saying the song sounds at all like Red Hot Chili Peppers, but that's where the inspiration for the song came. It came from that kind of hanging out in the garage jamming sort of thing. And you know, you'll be able to tell a difference between the lyrics that Snowman wrote and the lyrics that I wrote. Right? There's a clear distinction in tone there. And this is just one of those tunes, and so it's a fun one.
Very
specifically
cool.
that intro bit is something that I really like.
Yeah, I like the intro, man. That's what really spoke to me. And when I first heard it, I was like, man, I like this. I like this a lot.
Doesn't Wasteland have the bass solo in it?
It has a little mini one, yes. It's kind of a flamenco feel.
Yeah. So the whole song is just like a different vibe.
Yeah, it's cool for sure, man. Well, let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Wasteland from Dead Perspective right here on Smokys Feast. was Lies from Dead Perspective right here on Smoky's Feast. And I gotta ask, man, what is that song all about?
Well, Lies is another sort of fictional tale, right? So you're following the character of this woman who's really struggling, and you know, really the whole song is written around trying to get to that heavy bridge that comes in at the toward the end of the song. We came up with that heavy riff. You know, I think in a way very Daughters of Mara inspired. I don't know, you know, how many of your audience are familiar with Daughters of Mara. They're not the most, you know, commercial band, but boy, did they speak to John and I, and trying to get to
Absolutely.
some of those heavy Zuzek riffs. It's just like we wanted to do something like that with a time signature change, with a heavy, you know, vibe to it like that. And so the whole song was kind of written as a way to get to that moment. And so, you know, and it, you know, that's not to say that there's no value in the rest of the song, right? Like there's some meaning there, and we're talking about this woman who's really struggling with a hard time in her life, but you know, it's really trying to get to the expression in that bridge where she's really just losing control. And that's what Lies is all about.
Right on, man. Well, if anyone wants to go ahead and pick anything up from Dead Perspective at all, or if they want to follow you guys or any of that good stuff, where do you guys want to go? Where can we go, man?
Well, you can find us streaming anywhere you get your streams. We're on all the things. If you want to actually purchase a physical copy, John mentioned earlier, you can find our stuff on Elastic Stage, CD and vinyl.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, guys, I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me, man. I really do appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. It was a great time.
Absolutely.
And I love hearing the history of the band. It's just very, very intriguing to me. I'm gonna most definitely keep a very close eye on you guys for sure.
Awesome.
I'm very
That is
intrigued
awesome.
with that. So with that said, we got Villain and Smoke that we're gonna leave from you guys by Dead Perspective. And as always, enjoy yourself a rolled one and a cold one. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.